Hey there, everyone. My 100 days of survival continues. There is a lot more to do, and in this episode, we'll get down to some new things to do. Last episode ended with me starting to dig up a mountain near my place home, but because I didn't have a beacon it took a long time to do it. The stone didn't break instantly. And digging up a huge mountain wasn't easy. After the second episode, I began by continuing to dig out the area near the home. A new and better village will be built on this site for the villagers. This would be my first little creative project. I dug out the center of the mountain, then replaced the stone with earth to make the area seem prettier. All this digging was taking the durability of the tools very quickly, so right after I finished digging, I went to hell to get some fixes. The territory was ready, but I needed resources to build. I chopped up a lot of wood, fried a lot of stacks of stone, prepared the glass, and could start building. I didn't have a concrete idea for the building. I just started building and added details to the house in the process. The first house didn't take much time, but it gave me a more clear idea of the whole style of the village. After the first one, I started to build the second house. I didn't want to make all the houses the same. Every house had to be unique. I had the idea to build something like a priest's house, something interesting, not an ordinary house like the first one. And then I realized that I was still wearing iron armor, which is kind of nice, but I was already ashamed to walk not in diamond armor. I went to hell, fixed the tools, gained experience, also took the experience from the furnaces, and I could enchant armor. While I was enchanting, I realized that I needed a couple of new villagers. At the very least, I wanted to get a villager that would sell 3rd level unbreakable. And then the misery began. I don't know how long it took to get this villager, but in that time I managed to get 3 or even 4 villagers with a mending. And the villager with the unbreakable book didn't want to get to me at all. I even managed to find a villager for level 4 protection and decided to keep it. I took him to a place where I would transform and heal him. My powers ran out, and I decided to leave the villager for the unbreaking 3, because I didn't really want to look any further. I took him to a place with a villager with protection and started infecting and healing them. When I was done, I bought all the books I needed. With a bit of experience, I put together all the elements of armor I needed and got a nice armor. The chestplate and leggings were tops, but the helmet and boots lacked some enchantments, but that wasn't a problem. And while I had a high level, I decided to enchant a sword as well, but it was not the one I needed at all. While I was building, mining, and surviving, I realized that I was often short on iron and had to go to the mine. At this moment I realized that there was no way to do without the iron farm. New building began. I tore down a bit of the mountain, dug a hole, set up hoppers and chests. Then I prepared a place for the villagers and brought those same villagers to the place of their new home. It wasn't the most comfortable thing to do. I had to build a railroad from the bottom to the farm place. And then on a boat and a mine cart at the same time, the villagers drove to the farm. The villagers were in place, the farm could already work, all that was left was to bring the green friend and give him a name tag. To get the tag, I had to get the villagers to the last level. It took a lot of emeralds, but I got the tag. And once the zombie was trapped, I gave him a name and the farm was completely finished. I decided to stand in the AFK for a while to gauge its efficiency. I stayed in the middle between the iron farm and a cactus farm, so that both farms would bring in resources. As soon as I sat down at the computer, I saw the iron from the farm, picked it up, and went on with my work. I wanted to quickly upgrade my tools and armor, so I took some fire resistance potions and many blocks with me and went to hell. Once I got down to a low height, I started digging. I dug long and hard to find the hell ore. It took longer than expected. I even managed to spend all the potions, even though each one was designed for 8 minutes. In all the time I had spent digging up 4 ores, I realized that I had overestimated my powers. I wanted to make all the tools nice right at once, but I realized that I would have to do that later. I returned home, made an ingot of Nicerite, and after thinking hard, decided to upgrade my chest plate. It was my first Nicerite item. It wasn't as bad as before. Finally, I decided to complete another house on the territory. The place for the village was gradually getting more buildings, it was no longer so empty. At this I went off to relax. All of this was more time-consuming than it sounds. In between digging the mountain I often had to fix tools, and while I was building houses, I often had to get the missing resources. But this is where I'm ready to end this series. There's not much time left for my survival. In the next episode the village will be finished and I will settle the villagers. There will be a lot of interesting stuff, so if you want a new episode sooner, be sure to like and subscribe. I will be very happy. Bye everyone.